Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the 12. Studio Steve back again. We're talking Eastern Conference Finals. We are recording this on May 21st, just a couple of hours before tip off. This series, to me, is the holy shit series. I feel like throughout this series, you're going to say, holy shit, did that just happen? Did this game just happen? Did this run just happen? Did that block just happen? Did that shot just happen? New York and Indiana have been playing that way this entire playoffs. Indiana has had one of the most incredible runs. If you go back and watch everything that has happened in the Milwaukee series, everything that happened in the Cleveland series, this team has just been outperforming themselves game after game after game. The ridiculous comebacks that they've had, the like 7 points in fucking 8 seconds and whatever the hell it is, and they've done it like 4 times. It's been incredible. 3 or 4 times, whatever it is. It's just been an incredible run for Indiana watching them play. And the persistence and the resilience that both of these teams have demonstrated. New York literally was down by 14 points every single game to Boston and came back and won. It doesn't matter if it's 15, 20, 25 points. These teams both seem to be able to just rally and persist behind each other and win games that aren't winnable and seemingly shouldn't be winnable, but they somehow pull it out. So these teams coming back together in the conference finals is just, it's a magical thing for me being a child of the 90s and seeing all of the different iterations of Indiana and New York face each other throughout the playoffs through the 90s, 94, 95 runs, 99 run when New York went back to the finals for the first time, and I think it was like 22 years at that point. This is going to be the holy shit series. Of all the series that we've seen so far in the playoffs this year, this one is going to be the one to watch. Not only because of the historical rivalry that both teams have had and the renewed rivalry. Let's not forget that last year in Game 7 of the second round, Indiana beat New York at Madison Square Garden with Tyrese Halliburton hitting the game-winning shot. They fucking hate him in New York. I love Tyrese Halliburton. He talks so much shit. The pace that he plays with, the way he gets his team involved, the confidence that he plays with. He's got a little bit of that ant in him, or I suppose they both have that same characteristic where they just talk their talk and walk their walk, and they be talking shit all game, and I love that. I'm pumped for this series. I'm pumped for this series. This should go down as the best series in the playoffs so far. While there has been a lot of great games, I feel like this whole series is going to be fucking fantastic to watch. So let's look at a couple of things here with this series. Now, here's what's really great about this series compared to last year when these two teams played. Both teams are healthy. So last year, you remember OG had the hamstring issue. Brunson had the broken hand issue. The team just, they weren't what they should have been in order to see a really, really fun series. Granted, that series was fucking fantastic. Like I say, went to Game 7. But now both teams are healthy. So now it's going to be grittier. Now it's going to be more physical, and now teams are going to be able to go at each other the way they want because they have the healthy bodies to do so. The question becomes, and this has been the question all playoffs long, and it seems like the Knicks continue to answer it, which is mind-boggling. Are the minutes played going to catch up to their starters? I know we've been saying it all playoffs. For some reason, they're just like cardiac kids, and they come back from 20 every fucking game, and they pull it off. So I don't know if that's even going to become an issue. On the flip side of that, the way that the Pacers play is absolutely incredible. They can go 10 deep within the first quarter, and then they'll continue running off matchups like that throughout the entire game. So it'll be really interesting to see how health continues to play itself out as the series goes on. I feel like it's going to go 7 games. Again, as a sports fan, I want it to go 7 games. Especially if it would be back at the Garden for Game 7. Imagine Tyrese coming into Game 7 in Madison Square Garden and doing it back-to-back years and killing them. That would be amazing. Let's talk about that a little bit further, actually. So the Knicks bench only scores 21 points a game, which is a league low compared to Indiana, 35 points a game. Which, beyond that stat line, I'm more interested to see how the Knicks keep pace with scoring. Especially when their starters have to go to the bench. So when their starters go to the bench, when Cat's on the bench, when Jalen Brunson's on the bench, who is then going to be the person or the people by committee that come through and score points for New York. New York is a great team when they score by committee, as is Indiana on the flip side. So both of these teams kind of mirror each other. If you look at these season statistics, these teams are almost identical. They mirror each other in every major statistical category. So just coming into this matchup, this series, there's already so much commonality. So it's already tight before we've even fucking played. Um, so the Knicks bench. So how are the minutes played going to work? How are the minutes played going to affect the scoring for the Knicks? Are they going to stagger the Jalen Brunson Cat minutes so that at least they have one scorer on the floor at all times? I think if both those guys go to the bench, the Knicks really have to dig deep in order to find some offensive scoring. So we'll see where that goes. On the flip side of that, the Pacers average the most miles per game, average speed. They play faster than every team in the league, and in the playoffs are playing with the most pace and scoring the second most points. Their name, the Pacers, fit the style of play so well. Rick Carlisle has these guys running 94 feet. I've never seen an NBA team press and run as much as this team does. They press fucking full court, 4 quarters, and then as soon as the ball comes off for a defensive rebound, they're running the other way. It's they never stop. They never stop. You got to watch these guys play. I've had the privilege of watching a lot of the Indiana games this playoffs. They're too fun, man. They are the most fun team to watch when they get it going. So yeah, so let's keep an eye on those things. Let's keep an eye on injuries. Let's keep an eye on the minutes played, the bench points, bench production, and see if Indiana can continue this pace. Both teams, like I say, they're relentless and never give up. They've overcome double-digit leads countless times as playoffs. This is a true battle of the Titans. It's going to be a hell of a series. Never mind the rivalries renewed from the past. But again, as I say, the new rivalry that has been created between these two teams, the hate that MSG in New York has for Tyrese Halliburton, and the relishing that he gets from it. He loves it. He loves being in those moments. So you got to love a player like that who's not going to back down to the challenge. Let's look at a couple of things for Indiana. Let's just pick 3 things for both teams. Let's look at Indiana first. Can they keep their pace and style of play against a team that forces you into a half-court offense? So Indiana's great when they're running and gunning. When they're in the half court, it's a little stickier. They've got a great half-court player in Pascal Siakam, and actually he's their only 20-point scorer. So they're going to have to look to him in the half court a lot if that's what New York is going to force them to do. If New York's able to get them off the run and gun game and keep them in a half court offense, how is that going to play out for Indiana? Are they going to have enough pieces in and around Siakam and in and around that 3-point line in that mid range to be able to contest and compete with that? Andrew Nembhard is amazing one-on-one. He can create his own shot. Siakam can create his own shot. Obi Toppin is great at running that baseline when they get the high-low action going. So it'll be really interesting to see if they can continue scoring at the rate that they're used to scoring if they are forced into a half-court game. The other interesting thing about Indiana, and I might have touched on this before, but if you've seen them play, they literally will go 11 deep in the first quarter at times. And that's fucking mind-boggling because New York runs like 7 people the entire game. Now they can trust in those 7 people, and they definitely trust in their 5. And they got a couple guys sitting on the bench that they haven't touched it. And I'm wondering, like, is Precious Achua going to come off the bench? We'll see, just to give him some energy and give him some minutes. Pat Riley always had this great quote, which is, "You use 8, you rotate 7, you play 6, and you trust 5." The Pacers go 11 deep, man. They trust fucking everybody. Is that going to be shrunken down, though? You know, when the playoffs get tight and when the playoffs go deeper into the rounds, you can see the bench rotations getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Is that going to happen? Or is Rick Carlisle going to say, we've been playing like this all year. We've been playing like this all playoffs. The success has been proven in front of everyone's eyes that we can go 10 and 11. We can give guys minutes here to give guys rest. Let's see if that continues. I think it will, because the recipe for success has been this all season long, all playoffs long. In fact, they have 10 players that average at least 19 minutes. That's fucking wild. At least 19 minutes over the course of 10 different players through the course of a game. Another interesting thing is, like, when I'm looking at Indiana with size, as far as size is concerned, they've got a lot of beef down on the front line. outside of Miles Turner, who's primarily going to be matched up against Cat, who the hell is going to be matched up against Mitchell Robinson? Are we going to see some Thomas Bryant minutes? Maybe Thomas Bryant comes in and gives them some edge on the front line. At least he can compete with Mitchell Robinson as far as offensive rebound is concerned, because the Knicks love to chew up that offensive glass. Josh Hart will come crashing in. Mitchell Robinson's a fucking beast down there. So maybe some Thomas Bryant minutes just to give some relief and just to get some size in there. And then this one, just for fun, do the former Raptors take on each other and win that battle? Who wins that battle between the two of them? So Pascal Siakam for the Pacers and OG Anunoby for the Knicks. Both players are vital to each team's rotation. Pascal, obviously, more so on the offensive side and the run and gun style up and down. OG, of course, from the defensive side and at times a three-point shooter. He's had stretches throughout the playoffs where he's really good from three, and stretches where he hasn't. So who's going to win that battle? I'm interested to see who's going to win that battle. The former Raptors battle. As a person that's from Canada and as a Raptors fan, I just had to throw that shit in there for fun. And I do think that both players play significant roles for both teams. New York. Let's look at the Knicks. Couple of things to look at for the Knicks. Can Cat keep his shit together? If you're watching that Boston series, he was starting to get agitated. He was starting to get frustrated. The dumb, nonsensical off-ball fouls away from the action fouls that he picks up are just going to bury the Knicks if he continues to do that. They need his scoring more than ever in this series. So if he's going to get in that mental game where he's starting to get agitated and frustrated and getting these stupid fouls, getting technicals, getting his head out of the game, it's going to cost New York in the long run. Against Indiana this year, let me just pull the stat up real quick. Against Indiana this year, he averaged 30 points, 11 rebounds, 46% from three, and was fucking burying them all season long. That's the Cat they need. He did that all year against Indiana. They need that guy to show up every game. They need his head to be in the game. Will Cat keep his shit together? Is he going to keep his composure? He was starting to lose it in the Boston series. He was shooting like it, that's for sure. What were his numbers from three? He shot 16% from three-point against Boston. He only shot 19 threes in total in 6 games against Boston. That's not going to do it. That's not going to cut it. So they need the big cat. They need the big cat with the 30-point, 11 rebound game cat. They need that guy. 46% from three. I don't think the 3-point percentage from the Boston series is going to carry over to this series. I don't expect him to shoot 16%. I expect him to get around that 46% that he's normally been shooting against the Pacers this year. So keep an eye on Cat throughout the playoffs, throughout this series as well. I mentioned him before. Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell fucking Robinson. He missed 58 games this year. And all Knicks fans throughout the entire year, all they had to say was, just wait till Mitchell gets back. Just wait till Mitchell gets back. And the whole season, I was cringing listening to this because it's like waiting for Robert Williams, who famously for the Celtics was a key piece to their title run in 22 against Golden State, and the minute he was gone, completely fell apart. So I think Mitchell Robinson is a major factor for the Knicks on the offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, just a presence in the paint and having some size up front. Without him, I think it's going to be really difficult for New York to make any real headway against the Pacers. He presents so many matchup problems, which again, what I said earlier, that maybe we see Thomas Bryant come in the game a little more just to get some size against him. Just for some numbers here, Mitchell Robinson, by the way, Knicks fans, you were right. The moment he came back, they've been fucking great. Mitchell Robinson the Knicks are 30 points per 100 possessions better with him on the floor. They are plus 18 with him on the floor and minus 11 with him off the floor. Mitchell Robinson is a difference maker, and I expect him to be a difference maker in this series as well. If he can stay on the floor, if he can stay healthy, it's going to cause problems for Indiana. Let's see how they counteract that from the Pacers side. The last thing we're going to look at here, the Mikal Bridges effect, I think, is starting to bear fruit. He is starting to get better and better as the playoffs have gone on. If you looked at Mikal Bridges at the start of the season, I'm a real body language guy. I'm a real eye test guy. And when I was watching a lot of his work in the early parts of the season, he just looked unenthusiastic. He just wasn't into it. He just didn't look like he fit in. Granted, when you start on a brand new team, um, it's like going to a new workplace. Like you're just trying to understand the culture. You're trying to understand the people, how you fit in, what your role is. And in basketball, that's no more true than any place else. And it seemed like that was the case for like at least the first half of the season. And then once the Knicks really started to gel and really started to get going, Mikal Bridges really started to find his spot in the lineup and his place within the team. I think it's starting to bear fruit over the last couple of series. He's starting to look a lot better. He had those monster defensive possessions against the Celtics, back-to-back game-winning stops against Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. His shot is starting to look a lot like it did pre last year, like when he was at the FIBA World Cup, when he was looking really good. Pre-hitch, I think they were calling it, the hitch that he added to his shot, whatever the fuck that means. But his shot is looking good. His defense is looking good. He looks like he's found his way into the rotation. That's starting to bear fruit. Knicks fans are going to love that, given all they gave up for him and the promise that they had for him. So Mikal Bridges starting to look really good, not only on the offensive end, but the defensive end, which again poses problems for Indiana. Both teams have such great wing defenders, such great speed and tenacity out on the wings. It's going to be really fun to watch that. Again, keeping an eye on Mitchell Robinson, keeping an eye on the paint, the rebounding matchup, I think is going to be really important based on the way these teams like to play. New York likes to be in that half-court set. They're not afraid of running and gunning as well. Josh Hart proves that over and over. But Indiana is the superior team when it comes to the north-south game, east-west game, trying to go up and down the court. And it's going to be really interesting to see how these point guards can manage the talent around them to be able to put them in the right positions to excel. This series is going to be a knockdown, drag-out, dog fight. Both these teams are able to come back from 15 to 20 down consistently, and they've proven that consistently over this playoffs. It's going to be amazing to see how they do it against each other. The only way to really win these games is to just have a fucking blowout. I feel like you got to win by like 30 points, 40 points. That's the only way to secure a win safely against either one of these teams based on the way they've been playing this playoffs. So it's going to be really fun to see. The game is tipping off in a little bit here, so I'm going to wrap up and jump over to the TV and watch that shit for the rest of the evening. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy this series. We're going to touch back about this series and the Western Conference Finals throughout the playoffs. And then, of course, we're going to wrap up with the finals, and we're going to continue with that right from game 1 to hopefully game 7, crossing fingers as a sports fan. Anyways, May 21st, pre-game Eastern Conference Finals, New York Knicks, Indiana Pacers, renewed rivalry, new rivalry, and what I think is going to be the best series of the playoffs, and I'm hoping for it because there's no better thing to look for but then a game 7 on the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. And fucking the finals. Let's just go, man. Basketball's been amazing. The playoffs have been amazing. Really looking forward to this matchup. I hope you are too. And we'll check back in a couple days once things have wrapped up and see where we're at going into game 2 and the rest of the season. All right. Studio Steve signing off. Peace.